Hello, good morning to each and everyone, most especially to our professor, Dr. Alvin Sikat, and to all aspiring educational leaders and doctors. Good morning, may buntag sa atong tanan. To all my Chinese friends, Sao Shanghai, to our Indonesian friends, Salamat Pagi, my topic focused on innovations of the Philippine Department of Education, or DepEd, to ensure learning continuity. You know, innovation is very essential to each and every one of us. And for every institutions or organization like the Department of Education to remain relevant, to remain effective, and to remain responsive to the needs of our stakeholders and constituents. And by embracing innovations, we can drive positive change, improve outcomes, and create a better future for those that we serve. Innovation involves challenging traditional practices and finding novel solutions to existing problems or opportunities. Innovation is driven by the need for progress, growth, and adaptation to the evolving demands of society. So why need innovation? Because innovations allows us to overcome obstacles and tackle complex challenges. It enables us to find ways, new ways of doing things, improve efficiency, and solve problems more effectively. Without innovation, organizations and institutions may become stagnant and unable to keep up with challenging circumstances. Another thing is the world is constantly evolving, changing, and new technologies, new trends, and needs emerge over time. Innovation enables individuals and organizations to adapt and respond to these changes proactively. It helps us in staying relevant, in keeping competitive in a dynamic environment. Innovations lead to continuous improvement in quality. By exploring new ideas and new approaches, institutions like the Department of Education can enhance the quality of education, teaching methods, and learning outcomes. It allows us for the development of more effective strategies, tools, and resources that benefits students and educators. On the other hand, innovation often results in streamlining processes, reducing inefficiencies, and optimizing resource utilization. By finding better ways of doing things, organization can improve productivity, save time and resources, and achieve greater outcomes with fewer inputs. Aside from that, innovation is closely linked to growth and progress or development. It enables progress and expansion in various sectors, including education. And by embracing innovations, institutions like the Department of Education can drive positive changes in teaching methodologies, curriculum design, infrastructure, and access to education. Ultimately, fostering growth and development of individuals and society as a whole. Also, innovations help institutions meet the evolving needs and expectations of our stakeholders. In the case of the Department of Education, it is essential to adapt and innovate to provide students with the skills, knowledge, and competencies required for success in a rapidly changing world. It also ensures that educational institutions are responsive to the needs of parents, teachers, employers, and the broader community. Prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, the state of education in the Philippines faced several challenges, and there were issues related to access, quality, and equity. While efforts were made to improve education, many schools, particularly in remote areas, lack resources and infrastructures. Some of the challenges included overcrowded classrooms, outdated teaching methods, inadequate facilities, and a shortage of qualified teachers. The Department of Education focused on enhancing the curriculum, teachers' training, and implementing reforms to address these issues. In fact, before the pandemic, the DepEd already introduced several innovations to enhance education and undertook several initiatives to address the issues of quality, access, and equity, basic education services in the Philippines. This included the implementation of the K-12 program, which extended basic education from 10 to 12 years, providing additional time for students to develop their skills and competencies. These initiatives aim to enhance the quality of education by providing students with additional years to develop their skills, to develop their competencies. It included the implementation of a standardized curriculum aligned with the international standards, which aim to improve the quality and relevance of education. With this program, the Department of Education pushed for the passage of the Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013, which provided a legal framework for the K-12 program and other reforms. The law mandated the provision of free and compulsory education, ensuring access to education for all Filipino children. The department also promoted learning approaches, such as the use of e-learning platforms, educational apps, and digital resources. These efforts aim to improve the quality of education and prepare students for the demands of the modern world. Alternative learning system was implemented by the Department of Education to provide educational opportunities for out-of-school youth, adults, and those who were unable to access formal education. It offered flexible learning pathways, including self-paced modules, distance learning, and equivalency exams to provide quality education to marginalized learners. The Department of Education also worked on expanding the infrastructure of schools, particularly in remote areas. And this included the construction and improvement of classrooms, school buildings, and facilities, aiming to create a conducive learning environment for students in both urban and rural areas. The DepEd also focused on improving quality of teaching by investing in teacher training and professional development programs. It provided opportunities for teachers to enhance their subject knowledge, pedagogical skills, and proficiency in using technology in the classroom. DepEd took steps to ensure the availability of quality textbooks and learning materials for students across the country. It developed and distributed textbooks aligned with the curriculum, promoting standardized resources and equitable access to learning materials. The aim is to ensure that every pupil in all public schools is provided with a complete set of textbooks per grade level, and every teacher a complete set of teacher's manual. The department also collaborated with various stakeholders, including private organizations, non-government organizations, and community groups to address education challenges through public-private partnership program. And this partnership aimed to leverage resources, expertise, and innovation and innovative approaches to enhance access to quality education and support underserved communities. These initiatives by DepEd were aimed at improving the quality of education, ensuring equitable access to learning opportunities, and bridging gaps in education provision. While challenges, issues, and problems persisted, these efforts contributed to the progress of education in the Philippines before the pandemic. During the pandemic, the DepEd had to rapidly innovate and adapt to ensure the continuity of education. Some of the innovations introduced included the use of online learning platforms and the creation and distribution of printed modules for students without internet access, and the utilization of television and radio broadcasts for educational content. The department also implemented training programs for teachers to improve their digital competencies and facilitate effective remote teaching. These innovations aim to provide access to education despite the limitations imposed by the pandemic. One of the key innovations and measures undertaken by the department in the education sector is to ensure that students can access educational opportunities and thrive even in the difficult circumstances. The department introduced distance learning modalities to deliver education remotely, and this included the utilization of online platforms such as DepEd Commons, Google Classroom, and learning management systems. And this platform allowed teachers to upload learning materials, conduct virtual classes, and interact with students. Other than this, the students has the option to choose either distance learning through digital and printed self-learning modules, blended learning, and homeschooling. Other than the online platforms, as what I have mentioned a while ago, the students with less resources had an options to also choose distance learning through digital and printed self-paced learning modules. And this is done to cater students who lack access to digital devices or who had no stable internet connectivity. And that is why DepEd developed and distributed self-printed modules. These modules contained self-learning materials and activities that students could study at home. DepEd coordinated with schools, local government units, and volunteers to distribute these modules to students' homes. The department also partnered with radio and television networks to broadcast educational programs. And these programs featured instructional aligned content with the curriculum, enabling students to learn through radio and TV broadcasts. DepEd also provided TV and radio receivers to underserved communities to facilitate access to educational broadcast. DepEd formulated a learning continuity plan that outlined the strategies, policies, and guidelines for ensuring continuous learning during the pandemic. The LCP provided a framework for the implementation of various distance learning modalities, assessment methods, and support systems for school administrators, teachers, parents, and students. DepEd conducted training programs and workshops to equip teachers with the necessary skills and knowledge to facilitate distance learning. And these programs focus on digital literacy, online teaching methodologies, module development, and effective communication strategies. DepEd also provided support materials and resources to assist teachers in adapting to the new learning environment. Recognizing the challenges posed by the pandemic on students' well-being, DepEd incorporated mental health and psychosocial support services into its initiatives. It provided guidance and resources for addressing the emotional and psychological needs of students, parents, and educators during these challenging times. DepEd fostered partnership with telecommunication companies, non-government organizations, and other stakeholders to address connectivity issues and expand access to digital resources. Collaborations were formed to provide free internet access, donate electronic devices, and develop educational content for remote learning. These innovations and initiatives by DepEd aim to ensure that learning continued despite the limitations imposed by the pandemic. They provided alternative methods for education delivery, considered these diverse needs of students and teachers, and promoted collaboration and flexibility in the learning process. These methodologies help DepEd personnel and stakeholders to be flexible as this school year transition from distance learning to full face-to-face classes. As these efforts towards ensuring continuous learning and transitioning towards full face-to-face classes, still several challenges have outgrown and still previous issues like shortage of buildings, classrooms, chairs, learning materials, inadequate teachers still persistent. And this is why just this year, the Vice President of the Republic of the Philippines, the Honorable Sara Duterte, the Secretary of Education, also presented her Matatag agenda. This Matatag agenda focused on developing robust systems and structures that can withstand shocks and challenges. This involved investing in school infrastructures, healthcare for teachers, education, and social welfare systems to ensure DepEd resilience in the face of various disruptions. This prioritized disaster risk reduction and management, including early warning systems, evacuation plans, and community resilience programs. This prioritized also sustainable economic growth, job creation, and poverty reduction, which would somehow encourage entrepreneurship, attract investments, foster innovation, and ensure inclusive economic development. The Matatag agenda prioritized measures to combat corruptions, improve public service delivery, and promote participatory decision-making process. This resilient agenda seeks to reduce disparities and promote social justice, which involves addressing inequality, improving access, quality, and equity to basic education services and basic education, promoting inclusivity for marginalized groups, and ensuring equal opportunities for all. So let's watch this.
Lahat tayo nagsisikap.
Lahat tayo nagsisipag.
Lahat tayo nais tumalino't gumaling.
Lahat tayo gustong makatulong sa pamilya at sa bayan.
Lahat tayo maaasahan.
Lahat tayo gagawa.
Lahat tayo tutulong.
Lahat tayo didiskarte at dilikha para sa ating kinabukasan.
Dahil lahat tayo ay may pangarap, may gustong abutin, may nais marating.
At kahit pa humarap sa libu-libong hamon ng buhay,
Ang tatag ng lahing Pilipino,
Mangingibabaw,
susulong.
Tayo ay magiging matatag.
Matatag na kurikulum,
matatag na paaralan, at agarang serbisyo para sa edukasyon.
Matatag na programa sa mag-aaral at kabataan.
matatag na suporta para sa mga guro.
ang ating pangarap,
Maaabot,
Mararating
Basta't tulong-tulong.
magsisipag tayo.
magsisikap tayo.
para sa isang bansang makabata.
Batang makabansa.
Lahat tayo.
Lahat tayo.
Lahat tayo, matatag ang pangarap, matatag ang kinabukasan.
The Matatag Agenda, Bansang Makabata, Batang Makabansa, will serve as our guide to the new directions of the Department of Education and stakeholders in solving basic education challenges. Matatag has four critical components. Number one, make the curriculum relevant to produce competent and job-ready, active and responsible citizens. Take steps to accelerate delivery of basic education facilities and services. Take good care of learners by promoting well-being, inclusive education, and a positive learning environment, and give support to teachers to teach better. This program of our government is a challenge for each and every one of us as aspiring educational leaders or administrators or doctors of education to improve the curriculum by focusing on foundational skills and embedding peace competencies, building more resilient schools and classrooms, strengthening inclusive education programs, advocating for teachers' additional benefit, and providing professional development programs, among others. The success and effectiveness of this agenda greatly depend on our support and cooperation as education implementers on the ground. Without the active involvement from the different stakeholders, the impact of this government agenda may be limited or even rendered ineffective. So we have to foster support with our government agenda by getting involved with the policy making process, provide platforms for feedbacking and participation, and of course, ensuring transparency and accountability in the implementation of this agenda. By building trust, addressing concerns, and actively involving, the likelihood of successful outcomes and positive impact can be significantly increased. So looking ahead, it is expected that the Department of Education will continue to leverage the benefits of technology and incorporate e-learning approaches even after the pandemic. The department may also explore blended learning models, combining both face-to-face and online instruction to optimize educational delivery. This approach can enhance flexibility, personalized learning, and access to resources. The Department of Education may also invest in improving digital infrastructure and connectivity in schools to address the digital divide and ensure equal opportunities for all learners. So to wrap up, we have to take note that innovation in education is crucial for the continuous improvement and advancement of our education system. It will allow us to adapt the changing needs of our learners, address challenges, and provide more inclusive and effective educational experiences. The COVID-19 pandemic has accelerated the need for innovation in education, pushing us to explore new ways of teaching and learning. It has shown us the power of technology, collaboration, and creativity in ensuring learning continuity despite the limitation imposed by the crisis. As we move forward, it is essential to sustain and build upon the innovation introduced during the pandemic. This requires commitment from educational institutions, from schools, from policymakers, educators, parents, and students to embrace and support innovative approaches to education. Let us remember that innovation is not limited to technology alone. It encompasses pedagogical practices, curriculum design, teacher training, infrastructure development, and more. It is about finding creative solutions to improve learning outcomes, enhance access to education, and promote equity in educational opportunities. By fostering a culture of innovation, encouraging collaboration, investing in resources and professional development, and actively engaging stakeholders, we can create a transformative and future-ready education system. So let us continue to embrace the spirit of innovation in education, ensuring that every learner has the opportunity to thrive, grow, and succeed in a rapidly changing world. Before I end up, let me leave you this passage of Julia Gillard, which states that our future growth relies on competitiveness and innovation, skills and productivity, and this in turn rely on the education of our people. Again, thank you very much. Have a nice day. Thank you for listening.